Several years ago, I heard a story about, and you know how all stories are, they're true. This guy was preaching one Sunday, and a pulpit committee came to hear him preach. And if you don't know, and some of you maybe have been members here for a while, and Brother Price has been here long enough that you probably have no clue what a pulpit committee is. And that's a good thing, believe me. But pulpit committees are sent out by churches to find a new pastor for their church when they're without a pastor. And so this pulpit committee comes into the back, and listen, I was a pastor's son. I grew up in church, and my dad was preaching. So let me tell you something. If you're ever on a pulpit committee, you may as well wear a neon sign that says Pulpit Committee. Because everybody knows, okay? One of these days, pulpit committees are going to figure out to dress real casual and different and kind of laid back, and they're going to come in different cars, and they're going to sit just all over the place and have a designated place later to meet so that no one sees them coming and leaving together, because it is a blaring word. Hey, we're a pulpit committee. We're looking to take your pastor away from you. All right? And so this pulpit committee comes in the back door. Everybody knows it's a pulpit committee. The pastor knows it's a pulpit committee. And he preaches this amazing sermon. Took about 20-25 minutes. The pulpit committee was really impressed with how short he preached and how great a sermon it was. People flooded down the aisles. So after the service, one of the pulpit committee came to the pastor and said, "We'd like to take you to lunch and visit with you." And they go off and they visit with him over lunch, and they talk to him about coming to be their pastor. Over a period of weeks where they met and visited and everything, they decided to call him his pastor. He felt like it was God's will that he move and go to this new church. And so they called him to come, what is called in view of a call, where you come and you preach for the church, and then they vote on you if they like you. All right? Now somewhere, someplace, there's got to be a better system of doing this. But that's what we're stuck with for now. All right? And so the guy goes to the church and he preaches for them in view of a call. And the pulpit committee is spaced out with their families. They're in their church, just really excited for the church to hear this guy that they think is amazing. And he preaches the exact same sermon that he preached when they were there. And one of the pulpit committee guys comes up to the chairman of the committee and he goes, "Did you notice that he preached the same sermon that we heard him preach at his church not too long ago?" He goes, "Yeah, but you know, it was amazing that day. People flooded down the aisle. Maybe he just wants to kick it off with a really good thing. That's a sermon he's comfortable with. So that's cool. That's no problem." So they vote unanimously to call him as their pastor. And he comes to be their pastor, and the first Sunday he's to be their pastor, he stands up in the pulpit and he preaches the exact same sermon. Only this time it takes about 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Guys in the pulpit committee, they didn't really talk, but they were all a little bit concerned. And after the third straight week of being their pastor and preaching the same sermon every week, getting longer and longer and longer, on the Sunday he preached for 50 minutes on that exact same sermon. The pulpit committee are all getting together and going, "We got to talk about this." And they get the pastor off in his study and they say, "Preacher, now listen, we came to hear you and we loved you and we thought your family was great and your preaching was amazing, but you know, just for question's sake, we're not sure here what's going on. For the last several weeks you've preached the same thing every week. When are you going to move to another sermon?" And he said, "When you start doing what I preached in the first one."